My name's Anthony Spencer. I'm the Managing Director for AMS Surveys. I'm also a chartered building surveyor, so carry out some of the surveys that we conduct within the business. We've now been using Surventrix for 18 months. So before we switched over to Surventrix, some of the frustrations that we had was around, we used a couple of different software packages, and although they integrated to each other and pushed information around, we didn't necessarily have one source of the truth. So the benefit of Surventrix for us is because it deals with the leads at the front end, as well as the client contact side of things with our back of house operations team. It also then gives full visibility of that customer journey to the surveyors when they come to site, and then the data capture on site for the surveying side of things, as well as the report writing and releasing the report to the client. So everything's in one place, so the whole business has visibility. Our favourite features across the team is the flexibility of the mobile app, being able to capture photos using standard paragraphs and then still being able to put a bespoke twist on each of those paragraphs. You know, the customization within the software is really useful. And, you know, one of the great things is being able to take photos and they go in the right part in a report. For anyone who's used, you know, Word packages and various things, the format and element of documents is quite enormous. So the quality and consistency that we found with Surventrix has been really good. We've actually built a number of bespoke report templates, which is really useful because we cover a variety of different property types, so from residential, commercial and heritage. Our suite of reports that we produce, because they're bespoke, are all the same across the board. So in terms of brand image and marketing, is you can tell it's an AMS Surveys report, and it's the same whether you're a residential client or a commercial client or heritage, rather than having an RICS template for residential and then something different for another part of the business. So again, it's sort of standardised. And the good thing then is for the surveying team, if some of them work on different streams of property type. So the app, essentially the interface they see, is pretty much the same, but what it produces is different depending on the type of survey that's produced. So it's intuitive in terms of the surveyor using the system. So I think anyone who's sitting on the fence about looking at digital software, and in particular Surventrix, it is the fact that everything's in one place. So it's really useful in terms of the customer journey side of things, and being able to see the notes that you've potentially had with the client prior to being instructed from the quote stage, being able to see them on site, and the surveyor carrying out that can see the front end element of it. So it's joined up in that sense, but also it's one version of the truth in terms of everything's within the one system. So where you may have paper site notes or take photos on a camera, if you use it in a similar way we do, where we take the photos on site and they're directly synced to the cloud, and as well as the site notes. We don't use audio transcription, but I know some people do, so there's an option there for if that's the way you work. Again, it can capture that, and it's all in one place. So when it comes to the report writing, you're not then searching for photos that have been uploaded somewhere else, or site notes that, you know, could have been damaged, or, you know, there's a risk of losing them. Whereas if you've got a backup, and because the way the system works is it's stored on the iPad or the iPhone, whatever device you're using, as well as synced to the cloud, so you do have a sort of a second version if there was any sort of concerns around it being on the cloud. I think I would highly recommend Surventrix. As I've said, you know, the key thing for us is that visibility from start to finish, having it all in one system, everything linked together, the transparency for the surveyors. So, you know, if there's a client concern raised at the front end, whether that's a different part of the team that's dealing with it, or whether the surveyor's dealing with it, through to producing the report and then looking back for post-survey calls, they've got all of that information in one place. It's a quick search of the address, and you've got all the data at your fingertips rather than having to go in and out of other software packages or find files or paper notes that may be somewhere else. So it's great in terms of having it all in one place. That's probably the key thing for us.